Hey everybody, this is Matt here with Cutting Edge Plasma, Cutting Edge Router, and today I'm going to show you how to load a file on the Lockwood Pro CNC Router with the Masso G3 Touch controller. So there's a few different ways to do this on this controller, either a USB jump drive, or you can hook this machine to Wi-Fi actually and send it over remotely from your computer. In this case, we're going to just load the jump drive, which is actually just right down there. All right, so next we are going to go over to load file. So now it shows everything that's in your jump drive on here. Then this is where you pick your file. We're going to go to the 5x10 4-zone vacuum grid table. Now it's going to show a little preview of that piece. It shows dimensions on there. This part here is 119.5 by 59.5, basically this full sheet that will be getting cut out. Next step, we are going to go over to the jog screen, where you will jog your machine over to the 0-0. So right now, on this machine here, we have the 6 horsepower auto tool changing spindle. This spindle here has a manual tool change button right here. Otherwise, it'll automatically do it during the program. But for right now, we're just gonna do a dry run. So we're gonna manually load this. So with this green button, you click that, you'll be able to load your tool. So what you wanna do is you wanna hold that button before putting the tool in. So you hit the button, load the tool, let off the green button, and now your tool is in there. So next step, we want to zero this in the corner of our part. Wherever it is on the table, in this case, this is going to be this whole sheet, so we're going to go zero right there. Go over to jog, continuous mode, we're going to jog X and Y. Bring it over there. Now this is where this handheld pendant comes in handy. So this machine here comes with a handheld pendant, so you're able to jog X, Y, and Z at different distances. Has the dial here. So this is where it's nice if you're right over in that corner. You'll be able to use the handheld pendant. It's kind of hard when I'm taking a video, but you'll be able to jog this right to the edge. So that is X. Go to Y. Now I'm just going to get this close, since this is just a test run. I'm gonna turn that back off so we don't hit it. Now the next step you would do once X and Y is in the corner of your part at 0-0, you'd wanna bring your Z all the way down. You're gonna wanna bring your bit all the way down to the material. Right there. In this case, we're gonna bring it up because I'm gonna actually do a dry run 2 different ways. I'm gonna do it with the spindle on and with it off, and I'll show you both. So now I'm gonna bring this actually up. We'll say that is 0 right there. So now what you're going to want to do is zero all your axes, X, Y, Z. So now next step, we're going to go over to Program MDI. Now here it shows your file we loaded, just so you know. It does show what tool it is. Right now, this machine thinks it has tool number 3 inside of that spindle. So if there was a different tool change, if it needed a tool number 1 at first, it's actually going to go drop this tool off and pick up another tool before it starts cutting. But in this case, we have the manual tool change still on, so it's actually just going to start going with this. So next step, it's going to be cycle start. Once this is in the beginning, it shows what program it is, the size of it, 61 by 121, 3/4 inch thick. There's 2 different profiles on this tool path. The tool used is an 3/8 end mill. We're gonna hit start. All right, so now it's gonna ramp up the spindle before it starts cutting. Now on here, on this spindle, you wanna make sure coolant flood is always on. So I'm going to turn coolant flood on right there. So this is basically protecting that spindle from any debris getting up into it. So you always want to make sure that's on. Usually in the program, it'll automatically turn that on. And if it doesn't, you want to make sure that that is always on when cutting. Especially if you stop the machine and start again, the spindle will turn off and the coolant flood won't turn back on. So you want to make sure that's off. So now on here, it's going to show you what it's cutting. the path it's taking as it's cutting. It's going to show you a job time on here. This one is at 45 seconds. Spindle speed is at 10,000 RPMs. Our feed rate is at 100. There is a way to override this. If you want to slow down your feed rate or change the RPM of your spindle, you think it's cutting a little too slow, your cut quality is not great, you can change that there. Or if it's cutting too fast, you can change all that. All right, so next I'm going to show you recovery features. Say we need to stop this machine. Let's say a tooling broke or you just got to change something out. So what we're going to do is you can either hit feed, hold, or the E-stop, or this red button. So we're going to stop that. Spindle is going to turn off. Now on the G code, it's going to show that we are at N57. So that's what line we are in this part. It's going to show right where it stopped. Now what you can do here is there's a jump to line. It's kind of hard with the glare. Click on that. It's going to show you which line you want to go to. So right now it knows we were at N57. So it has that up there. If you need to change, go back to a different line because your tooling was broke for the past 15, 20 different lines, you can go back to that and find that. So what we're going to do, we'll actually go back. We won't even jog the machine. We'll just change this back to 40. Go back 17 lines. So now I hit 40. We're going to say start from line. So now in here, it's going to highlight exactly where that is on your program. It's going to show the coordinates, the feed rate, what tool, spindles at clockwise, coolant miss on. So now I'm going to hit run. Actually, this one did turn the coolant flood back on. So it's going to require multiple cycle starts, just so you know that it does jog over to the right position. You can check, okay, this is where it needs to start cutting. So then you're going to hit OK, and then cycle start. And then it's going to start over. Spindle is on, and it's moving. Now I will also show you another way to do a dry run. We'll stop this program. So if you want to do a dry one without turning on the spindle, here's another option to do that. What we're going to do, we're going to jog the Z up a little bit. Go to program MDI. I'm going to bring this back to its home. So on here it says go to work origin. Click that. It's going to go back to 0, 0. So now on here, there's going to be an MDI screen. So in here, you can write different G&M codes on here to make the machine move, turn the spindle on, change the RPM, do some testing. And there's also where it says dry run. So with this dry run, you have to enable the laser pointer. So what you do now is you exit off of here, go back up to setup, and now you are going to go to multi-head. And then here it says dry run laser pointer. So we're going to enable the dry run laser. We're not going to offset it. We don't have a real laser pointer on this machine, so we're just going to have it set right where that tooling is. Hit save. Now we're going to go back to program, go back to MDI, and dry run. So now we are in dry run mode. So now what you can do, you can exit off of this, and now we are in the beginning of this program. You just hit cycle start. And without turning the spindle on, it's going to show you a dry run of what it would be cutting. So, if it won't interfere with any other parts. And then you would just want to make sure when you are done with that, done with the dry run, you'd want to stop this, go back to MDI and turn off dry run, and then you're on the main spindle again. So that is the basics of loading a program, doing a dry run, and we'll see you on the next video.